Welcome. Today's video is a journey into flower magic with DIYs along the way, as well as what to do with flowers in your craft, how to use them, and when. So it begins with correspondences from the wild for you to follow along. If you're interested in wild magic correspondences, my Patreon will be heavily focused on this wisdom, and that will begin in a few weeks' time. But for now, my wild ones, sit back, relax, and let's begin. Today's video is a collaboration with the Woodland Witch, and I just cannot wait to tell you about her a little later in the video. If you want to skip ahead, you can go over to her channel and subscribe. Flowers for Lammas, awakening morning glory, sunny side of life squash, hibiscus of healing, black-eyed inner growth, cleansing Queen Anne's, watching the flower wheel of light. The flower wheel of the light side of the year is a cornucopia of magic. The first harvest is here, my dears. So it is the wee hours of the morning. Grabbing my basket. It is Lammas. Happy and blessed be to your celebrations. We're actually on the property of one of my friends, and we're going to be harvesting corn. We're going to be harvesting some roots. I want to do a spell for today, and I want to incorporate flower magic into this spell so that we can really see the bioregional aspects of what I'm experiencing here for this holiday.
Too many days in the darkness without a glimpse of the light, running tired and broken and scared, but I swear I'll never give up the fight. I see you broken and beat, head pulled down over your eyes. Every part of you wants to surrender, but darling, you were meant to survive. With every start, we are born again. Open your heart, spend less time in your head. With every start,
now I'm in the corn. Yeah, you can just feel the gift of the sun. The harvest is coming. Fruition is coming. I'm going through a pretty big spiritual growth period, and also like lots of waves of self-understanding and recognition. And I want to bring corn into that for myself the way I have done it in the past. So you can see all this pollen. This is what we want to harvest for the spell. We're going to talk a bit about Lammas now, and as you listen in, you will see the harvesting, drying, and preserving of many flowers. I used floral spray for pressed flowers and silica salt separately to maintain the shape of specific flowers to be used in resin. I link both products below for you. You will see my flower crown made with contact paper and Velcro. You'll also see me connecting with flowers, for I am truly a wild witch, and you can be too. Enjoy. Lammas is a celebration. It's the first of the 3 harvest seasons, but it's the one that I think people feel the least connected to, specifically, like, depending on where you live, because this celebration has origins in Europe. It got colder where they were faster, and so it can sometimes feel a little unnatural in a way, because what we're seeing around us, like, we're not seeing corn fully, in harvest. We're not harvesting yet, like where I am. So we're going to harvest what's available, and that part of the corn that's available is the flower. Corn is flowering right now, and you've got to come out, and this is kind of something I do every year, run through the corn. So corn is really all about self-growth. If you think about the way the corn wraps around the fruit, and there's this like inner growth happening. And I've experienced corn before at a place in my life where I was like going through a lot of spiritual growth and a lot of emotional growth. And I remember bringing corn into that part of my life, and I was making flower essences out of corn. And a woman had sent me a package, and the most beautiful picture, I wish I still had it, and it was a woman emerging from the corn, and she looked just like me. And it was just this real symbolism for me. To me, Lammas is about honoring the sun and its work and what the sun has been able to produce for us here on earth. And Lammas has always been celebrated as the worshiping of the sun god Lu. So I'm a secular witch, and that means that I may bring in some of the archetypes of Lammas or the god Lu, but I'm not necessarily celebrating it and worshiping Lu as a god, but many pagans do, and it's really beautiful. Let me introduce you to my friend and fellow folk witch, the Woodland Witch. If you need a magically charged simmer pot or tea soaked in the air of ancestry, you can check out her apothecary, Folkcraft and Flora. An active Instagrammer, TikTok creator, and YouTuber, her content is tied with an Irish-American folk-style bow. Need a simple spell to clean your home? She's got your back. Links to all her socials are below for you. She has created a partner video on flower magic just for us wild ones, and I highly recommend that you check it out. Don't forget to support our fellow witches in this community and go over and subscribe to her channel. I want to back up and talk about flower energy and how to preserve it, how to use it externally and internally. And this part of the video has many examples of how to use flowers in your magical lives. At the end, we're going to craft a spell with some of the components that you're about to see. I think this really showcases a wild witch's real life. Everything in nature is connected, and so that is recapitulated into a wild magic practice. We are going to start making a sun tea, which is the first step in making a mother flower essence. Let it sit in the sun for a day and then refrigerate until you can mix it with alcohol. This will be a mixture of 50-50. The alcohol can be 80 proof, but I use 120 proof Everclear. This is now a mother essence. Then we're going to mix up a daughter essence, which is half water and half the mother essence. Flower essences are a way to take in the energy of the flower with a homeopathic type effect. And if you're sensitive, this will truly work that correspondence into your being. Oh my gosh, I love being a wild witch. So when I think about Lammas and I think about flowers and what's happening bioregionally for me right now, I think about honoring all of the gifts that the sun has given us. And that's kind of how I celebrate Lammas, is just the honoring of how the season has gone from the summer solstice, which is like full bloom sun, to now we're getting a little bit of the first round of waning. But we're celebrating what has happened from the summer solstice to now, and we're celebrating what the sun has given us, all the gifts around us that the sun has given us. And we're thankful. We're thankful, and we're just in awe of this first wave of harvest. burdock root. It has already begun the flower process, but the root energy is still medium to high, and I found a third-year plant to harvest the taproot, as well as a first-year plant. We are going to use this in many ways, and I'm excited to show you. But let's talk root energy. Roots are powerful. Lammas is a great time to begin to put up protective wards, for the veil gets thinner as we move towards Samhain. Burdock is perfect for this, so I'm making a medicine from the root to dry to make tea in the winter, a bracelet from the root for protection, which is a little tricky, but so effective and so worth it. I am also making a few protective wards with the leaves, flowers, and the fruit, as well as the roots. This hangs on my doors for protection. Burdock is so protective and deeply cleansing. Now onto working with the corn. We're going to make a bracelet from her as well, out of the flowers and the stem. The idea is to wrap in my intentions with a strong braid and let it dry like the other one in a circle frame. Braiding is one of the magical crafting knots I use a lot. It's technically not a knot, but it is the symbol of the mother, maiden, and crone, and this calls to me. So that braid really works some ancestral support in. Don't mind me while I add some of this to my living wild witch broom. This is my blessing broom for my home, and it is full of plants that I've harvested through the summer season. This year, the plant parts will be burned in the Beltane bonfire, and she will be refilled again through the next season. So let's craft a final beautiful staff from the burdock and corn parts, with a bit of flowers from the wild that are preserved. These happen to be from Texas, a gift from a fellow herbalist. With wisdom, I find a way to begin anew and become self-protected. So let it be. We're going to be using corn, and I've also made this beautiful wand, which you've, I think, already seen. So I'd like to actually unveil that and use it for this work. And with this knot, I begin this work. And as I'm thinking about each element, I'm thinking about my experience recently with those elements. So I'm thinking about the air that I felt on my face when I ran through the corn, the earth that I felt as I was digging up the burdock, the fire that I felt recently in all of my cooking. If you haven't checked out all of my amazing cooking that I've been doing over the last 2 videos, have been all about bringing wild witchcraft alive in the kitchen through firework, the water. I think about the flower essence that I just made with water, and the bath that I just took recently I took a few ritual baths recently this summer, and I also took an amazing naked bath in a brook recently. And all of that is actually in my videos. So as I bring up this memory magic of all these elements, and I'm blessed to already have all of these elements in my life, like helping me in my life. And I ask again that you be here now. Earth, air, fire, water, spirit. I call upon the spirits of my ancestors to be here now in this working, especially because it's corn, which is an ancient grain. And I don't think I can do this work without you. So be here now. Thank you for being here now. In exchange for your time and your blessing in my magic, elements, and ancestors, I will be doing some cleanup of a local area that I noticed had some pollution blown onto it from nearby trucks. And I want to remind everybody here that this is the magic that I am doing in real life. But there are things that I'm not sharing with you. It's only natural that I hold some things back because witchcraft is extremely personal. So if you're trying to emulate any of this, there are elements that you can emulate, but you're not going to be able to completely emulate everything. And that's just the nature of, it's a very personal thing. And most people don't even feel comfortable sharing even what I'm showing you now. So blessed be to this working. I am bringing in presence Adventurine. I don't know why. Sometimes that happens. These are things that I put on my tray about a day or two ago as I was gathering support for this working. I am definitely going to be drinking some mother essence at the end. I want to drink the mother essence and not waste it. I've already preserved the daughter essence that I've made. I'm also bringing to this working some St. John's for joy. May this process of unfolding self be joyful. And I did bring a card that I was recently gifted. It says, I am trusting the process. Corn, husk, and silk, becoming the self, facing the shadow with joy. That is entirely what this spell is about. I'm going to be using yarrow as my main blessing, burning. I want to burn yarrow for this specifically. Yarrow is it has a grounding element that I can't quite explain to you. It's grounding and nourishing, but like not too heavy. It's very centering. Centering is a better word than grounding. It's centering while still allowing vulnerability. That's how I experience yarrow. So I'd like yarrow to be present for this. I don't feel I need to burn much else. Everything is just here and aligned. This was a piece of the bracelet. I think I am going to throw that on there, and I am going to just for getting the energy into the spell and into the air, I am going to burn a little bit of that. And that feels like it. I might burn a tiny bit of the corn that I dried for this working, and that's it. I now have this all here. Thank you for experiencing my magic with me, and blessings to your magic as always. Earth my body, water my blood, air my breath, and fire my spirit. Earth my body, water my blood, air my breath, and fire my spirit. It is a little early for Goldenrod here where I am, but it's like the first wave and everything's just beginning to open. I recently saw this awesome post on Instagram from Rebecca Beyer, who I've talked about a lot here. She posted a inspiration for cornbread with goldenrod, and I really love this idea, and I've been thinking about other recipes as well. I'm thinking that it might be really nice to incorporate some flowers into some beautiful food. And so again, thank you to Rebecca for the inspiration. Look at this. This is St. John's wort, and we're gonna make an oil, but we're also gonna make a tincture. It just helps boost your mood. You just get a little blue during the winter. It's a really great ally for that. Just having it in oil form means that you have an ally for major cuts and abrasions. I would say mostly though, she is useful for pain reduction, specifically for joints and just really any aching. And this is my mama, who has been helping me in my apothecary and with me. I want to wish everybody a blessed Lammas, however you celebrate this beautiful transition into the harvest season. May your magic be blessed, and come and find me again.